It is a Monday morning here on 9 News Mornings as we take this live look at Denver, where we saw record heat over the weekend. Yes, it'll be cooler today, but yes, it is still going to be hot. The morning team back together again. Brianna and Katie are going to have the latest on weather and road conditions here in just a moment. I'm Drew Carney. Of course, this is Corey Rose, back from a well-deserved, we'll call it, vacation.
Yes, it's good to be back, but I'm like, how do I do this again? You know, I've been gone for so long.
Right.
But it is great to be back.
Just follow along, Corey.
Okay,
just follow along.
You got it. We're going, it's like riding a bike, Katie. Riding a bike.
You know what you're doing.
The good news is that today we're going to cool it down a bit into the 90s and a bit stormier.
A little more moisture, yes. So this Monday, happy Monday to you, Colorado. We are coming off an extremely hot day. Yesterday, 103 broke the record, but we are watching this week some of that heat easing and increasing moisture across Colorado. Today's slightly cooler, still very warm. Highs will be in the 90s, low to mid 90s, scattered thunderstorms in the forecast. A little better chance for more soaking rainfall in spots tomorrow afternoon. And then Wednesday, we'll still see highs in the 90s, slightly warmer, but overall not looking at record-setting conditions like we saw over the weekend. This morning, walking out the door, though, it is still very warm. 80 degrees in our backyard, mid to upper 70s up north, Fort Collins and Greeley down through Pueblo, and daytime highs will top out in the low to mid 90s from Denver to Greeley. Still extreme heat from Pueblo to Lamar, Springfield, over triple digits, which is why the National Weather Service still has a heat advisory in place there and out west in Grand Junction until 9 o'clock tonight. Now, we are looking at the potential for some wet weather in spots. Not everywhere we'll see brief downpours, but we do have that possibility right around 3 o'clock. That includes Boulder, the Denver metro area, up north and then east into the mountains as well, off and on scattered thunderstorms and showers. Risk of severe weather is low, but a little bit higher over the eastern plains. We'll break down some of these rain totals as we clear out later on tonight and introduce a better chance for wet weather tomorrow coming up in your extended forecast. Brianna.
And we do have our first crash of this Monday morning. This is a live look for anyone in the Fort Collins area taking Mountain Vista Drive northbound I-25. This is impacting anyone's drive. That right shoulder is partially blocked, and you could see it is slow moving out there. For anyone, again, in the Fort Collins area, crews actually just arrived on scene within the last 5 minutes. Now, other parts of the metro, it is quiet, especially here in the Denver metro area. I-25, 225, I-70, and I'm not seeing any issues this morning. So I want to zoom into your drive times. South and northbound I-25 between 144th down to I-76, you're only looking at a 9-minute drive. There's also an important update that you need to be aware of, especially if you're in Adams County. The new E470 and Sable Boulevard interchange opens up to traffic tomorrow. We have our 9 News reporter, Amanda Gilbert. She shows us how this could impact your morning commute. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, and I've already noticed cones up. Drivers in the area have probably already noticed some changes, but right now I'm at the Adams County Government Center. Media has been asked to just stay here for safety ahead of a ribbon cutting at 9 this morning, but go ahead and take a look at your screen. Again, this is a new interchange. It's at Sable Boulevard and E470, and there will be traffic signals activated starting tomorrow just to help people kind of navigate where to go. There's also message boards up. Adams County says they are doing this to improve access to their government center and to Brighton and just the surrounding area as it grows. So as part of this project, crews are also widening the bridge that is already over E470. They're also adding more ramps to help with traffic flow. And again, there will be a ribbon cutting to celebrate all this at 9 this morning. Reporting live in Adams County, Amanda Gilbert, 9 News.
All right, thanks, Amanda. A small community in northern Colorado is mourning the loss of 3 young adults after they died in a rollover crash Saturday night. 2 other people were also hurt. The crash happened at Weld County Road 80 near Weld County Road 39 east of Alt. Colorado State Patrol says the car was going over the speed limit when it went off the road into a ditch, then came back onto the road and flipped over. All 5 people inside were ejected. The driver, a 20-year-old from Wyoming, is in critical condition. A 19-year-old from Eaton suffered minor injuries, and the 3 who died were all 19 years of age, also recent graduates of Eaton High School. Yesterday, crisis counseling services were available at the high school for community members impacted by the crash.
For years, the state's second largest district has been dealing with declining enrollment. That means less and less state funding for Jeffco schools. Last year, the district slashed $40 million out of its budget, cutting jobs and programs, but they say it's just not enough. It's why they're weighing asking taxpayers for help. Next month, the Jeffco School Board will consider a mill levy override to bring in $135 million. That would mean raising property taxes for the average home in Jeffco. That would mean an extra $22.50 a month.
We wouldn't go to the voters and ask for additional funding if we hadn't already gone through significant cuts to make sure that we are living within our means. So in the last school year, Jefferson County undertook that. It's difficult, but responsible actions to make those cuts, and the resources available still aren't enough.
The school board will consider the mill levy override in August. If they give it the okay, the decision will then go to voters on the ballot this November.
As wildfire danger remains a major concern across Colorado, one mountain community is working to improve evacuation safety. There's about 4,400 people living in the Genesee Fire Protection District. When they realized it would take too long to get everyone out during a wildfire, they built a new road. On Saturday, Genesee Fire Rescue tested out the new secondary emergency road. There is a gate in place to keep it closed off until it's needed, but during this weekend's drill, 117 cars were able to get through in 35 minutes.
Well, what we know is that evacuating this district prior to this road could have taken up to 4 hours. And so this can shave off, I think we wanted to say about 37% is what we thought we could improve traffic times by.
That was Genesee Fire Chief Josh Boyles. He's asking all residents to sign up for lookout alerts so they're notified in case there is an emergency. We have a link to that on our website, 9news.com.
During a meeting of the state's drought task force last week, it was revealed that fires burning across Colorado right now could cost at least $250 million in taxpayer money. There are currently 15 fires burning across the state. Hundreds of crews, dozens of bulldozers, and dozens of aircraft have responded, and the costs are going up. Emergency officials say the current 90-day cost projection for the fire response and recovery is about $266 million, and that's just for the 4 largest fires burning right now.
The financial impacts on things that cascade from drought impacts and so forth are tremendous. And in light of cutting $2.5 billion out of the state's budget over the past 15 or 18 months, that's a very notable number.
Fire officials say they're feeling optimistic about the progress they have made so far, but cautiously so, especially given that most of the state is under some kind of drought.
Before its regular meeting today, Denver City Council will hold a courtesy hearing to consider a few XL measures. The first measure would ask voters to extend the utility company's franchise license with the city for another 20 years through 2046. The existing agreement with the city and county of Denver expires on December 31st of this year. If it passes, this measure would go before voters in November. The second would approve an energy partnership for the next 20 years focused on sustainable, reliable, and affordable energy. A third measure would authorize Xcel to provide utility services at the airport.
Also today, Aurora City Council member Giannina Horton is set to introduce a resolution focused on getting better results out of the city's homeless navigation campus. The Aurora Regional Navigation Campus is at the former Crown Plaza Hotel on East 40th. It started welcoming in people in November, but since its opening has been dealing with problems like mold and broken plumbing in the building. Staff is also struggling to help certain people like the elderly who require more specialized care. City leaders discussed the issues in a meeting back in April.
I think everyone was acting with the best interests of thinking that everything was going to be working, and then it just wasn't. And so it was very clear. Some things were known that were going to be problematic, but I don't think anyone could have predicted the series of issues that we had. So in the rearview mirror, yeah, opened up way too early.
If passed, the resolution would lay out expectations of the campus, the operator, advance pathways, and create reporting requirements.
The City of Golden is looking for volunteers to help clean up the Clear Creek corridor today. Volunteers will help clean the area around the river between 7 and 9 this morning. The city is asking volunteers to wear appropriate clothing, bring water, and of course, use plenty of sunscreen. Cleanup days started back on June 1st of the year. They're going to continue for the rest of summer on Monday and Thursday mornings.
A longtime downtown Denver retailer is shutting down after more than 2 decades in business. Soul Street Shoes announced it will close for good at the end of this month. Owner Zach Monk says declining foot traffic, theft, crime, and years of construction along 16th Street has made it impossible to stay open. Monk says the store lost about $20,000 worth of merchandise to theft each year and struggled after several major retailers left the Denver pavilions.
In national news this morning, police are searching for another suspect after a mass shooting in Seattle.
The attack killed 3 people. Many others are injured. Police were able to take another suspect into custody at the scene. Police believe 2 people were shooting at each other. Witnesses say they heard about 7 or 8 shots and then people began running.
It was chaotic at first. A lot of people didn't realize what was happening. I mean, if you've never heard gunshots before, they may just sound like small pops. I'd heard them before, and so I knew immediately. And then when you see a sea of people running, you know, oftentimes people freeze and they don't know what to do.
Investigators are now working to piece together what led up to the shooting.
Time is 6:09, and Colorado, we are seeing more moisture stream into the state as of the start of this week. It's right now partly to mostly cloudy skies, but later on today, we do have the risk for seeing a few strong to even severe storms over the far eastern plains, capable of brief heavy downpours and very gusty winds. Now, in and around the Denver area, the next couple of days, it's going to be 90s for highs, scattered storms in the afternoon. I'll break down futurecasts when you can expect to see potentially some wet weather in your neighborhood after the break.
It's still very quiet for your Monday morning. Anyone taking I-25, you're looking at a 13-minute drive heading southbound, only 11 if you're heading north.